And speaking of Rod Woodson, that brings us to our Best in the Biz segment where he evaluates safeties. We're back on the field here, rejoined by Darren Sharper and Roman Harper. Did I do you justice there with the intro?
Well, you missed me. 17 years.
Okay. 17 years.
That's important for accredited season.
That's right. You know,
I fumbled.
Bell, you know.
That's right.
All right. When you came up with your top 5 safeties, I mean, how much has the criteria for evaluating those safeties changed over the years?
I think it's changed just for the fact that it's more of a passing league right now. And I think you're trying to find, for me, I'm looking for athletic safeties. Safety has a lot of range. A player that steps on the field and has his coach's mind when he steps on the field. And lastly, a player that's a playmaker. Once he steps on the field, he knows what he's going to do with the football once he gets it. And that's really what I looked at. Putting my 5 together really is my 6, because I couldn't get just, it was hard for me to get just 5. Right. I really wanted to go top 10. But if we go to the film, I'm going to show you that, the guy sitting right over to my right, he's on the list because he should break my record. Hopefully he'll break it this year in like week 4 or 5 and having the most interceptions returned for touchdowns. This guy can get it done. I mean, one thing about Darren Sharper, over the course of his career, I think it's 63 picks, Darren. Is that what you have, 63 right now? I mean, the one thing he can do, he can get into the end zone, and then you got Antron Roll, who was going, he switched positions, then he switched teams. And I think this is going to help the New York Giants football team, because one thing about a safety that can cover in space, that you don't have to go to your nickel package when they go 3 wides week in and week out, game after game. That's one thing I love about Antron Roll. Then you go to number 4, you got Nick Collins. And one thing about Nick, yeah, he gets beat every now and then, but he gambles, because an aggressive safety is going to get beat every now and then, but he has great instincts, he has top-end speed, and his leadership role is really taking over for this football team for the Green Bay Packers. And then thirdly, I like this guy. This guy is an in-the-box safety. And I always say, you got to play in space. He can't play in space. He can hit you. He can change a game. And he's one of the one player out of 10 in NFL history to have 20 touchdowns and 20 interceptions. That's one thing I love about him. And then number 2, come on, Troy Polamalu. And Troy is probably, to me, the best complete safety. I like to see him cover a little bit more. But this guy, blitzing, he can be on the line of scrimmage, and all of a sudden he's back getting interceptions. I love what Troy has become as a safety and a playmaker in the National Football League. And endly, Ed Reed. Ed Reed, the one thing about him,
he's the ghost.
He's a ghost. I thought I gambled a lot. But this guy really gambles, and it pays off for his football team. He studies the film, and he makes quarterbacks pay. He's very deceitful to a quarterback, because he can show him one thing, and he'll give him another, and that's one reason I think he's the top of his game in the National Football League at the safety position.
All right, summarizing there, we'll put them all on the screen for you at once. 1 through 5 with the tie for 5th, headed up by Ed Reed, the best in the biz, the safeties, as graded by our Rod Woodson. All right, so Darren Sharper tied for 5th. What do you think about that?
Thank you, Rob, for putting. I heard I was coming on the show. Hey, listen, when you get over you ain't see the list. It got a little eraser marks in it. Add this to it.
A little highlight. You have more picks than all the guys on that board. That's to your credit.
Now, you guys make a great 1-2 team with the Saints. I mean, how well, Roman, do you guys play off each other?
Yeah, man, we do. I think we communicate well. When Sharp came in, I told him the first day we worked, I said, man, first off, get this out the way. I've always been a big fan of yours. And we brushed this off, and it seems like we become like best friends, man. And it's a cool relationship, and we work together too. So we really work well with each other. And I listen to him, and he's helped me out a lot. Well,
forgetting the eraser marks for a second, is there anybody else on Rod's that's not on Rod's list that you think might possibly deserve, besides teammate?
Yeah, well, the list is a great list, and I respect all the guys that are on the list. And another guy that I think that definitely deserves some mention is O.J. Otagwe for the St. Louis Rams. You got to think about all the plays that he's able to make on a team that hasn't been as successful as you would like. It's easy to make plays when everyone around you is making plays, and it's comes as a big group. But when you can make plays on a team that struggles a little bit, and it kind of is the highlight for that team, the emotional leader as he is, plays all out. Every time I've seen him play, I have a lot of respect for the way he plays football.
Rod said one of the criteria for being one of the top safeties in the NFL is being able to take the game plan that the coaches have drawn up and make it come alive. You're really good, both of you guys are, getting other guys lined up and really putting players in a position to make plays. Give us just an idea of how you're able to do that based on what you're seeing from the offensive formation.
Well, a lot of times I like to do is try to work with my corners. and they can change the game for me because they can make the offense do something that might feed into their hands, but also might feed to my hands. So, like, and Roman can attest to this because sometimes I'll put him in spots, and we have a game in which we did that.
You know, because he thinks he knows it and he's probably seen it before.
A prime example is that Philadelphia Eagles game is that they kept running a stop route with their tight end, Ben Selleck, Brett Selleck, and they completed the game, play after play, and it came to fourth quarter and was in the red zone. And we had a coverage in which Roman was supposed to cover him. And I was like, Roman, go over there. You're supposed to go over there. I got him this time.
Yeah. So before I looked up, I thought I was looking for my man, and he's covering my guy. And they throw it right to him, pick, right?
He knew something.
He knew it.
And after the game,
He's taking them all for himself.
My coach comes up to him and says, "You're selfish." I'm selfish. I said, "Coach, I got time to complete the ball. What you want me to do? If nobody else going to do it, I'm going to do it."
I think one thing that really can help a defense if you can disguise, especially in the secondary, how do you guys communicate your disguises week in and week out and doing against like a Peyton Manning versus a younger quarterback?
You know, certain calls that we have that we can switch up. We have a certain way in which a cornerback, if he's playing a slot or on the outside, can play certain leverages that we'll switch up within the route. And that's something that was new to me as I came to coach Greg Williams' system. It's just switching up routes and switching up coverages within the route. A lot of times you might tell a guy to play a certain way before the snap, but we switch up things within the route, and that makes it even tougher for a veteran quarterback to be able to see that coming.
And Roman, I noticed in that Super Bowl, there was a series in the second half where Dallas Clark kind of got hot.
Yeah.
He was starting to get going, and then you guys were able to disguise. You played double coverage on him, but both you guys laid back, and then you were able to make some plays. You really took him out of the game at a critical moment. Talk to us about how you guys work together to disguise your intent, and then you can really change the game from there.
Well, once Dallas started getting hot, like you said, we knew we had to do something about it, and Greg's smart. He's not going to let their best player beat us. And we just tried to disguise a little bit. I might be sitting off and make it look like he's going to have something quick, and I dive down fast. And I know Sharp's got me over the top, so it allows me to do different things underneath. You know, I can be more aggressive and be ready to jump something. And I know I'm going to say, hey, look, I'm going to play hard outside, and you got me inside. And so if I tell him before the play or he tells me, he may see something because, you know, he's a little bit deeper than me. So he sees something, hey, harp. And we pretty much covered up, you know.
And, Rod, you know what allows for us to do that is having corners on the outside that can cover one-on-one. And we have great corners that can do that. So that makes our job a lot easier.
Good stuff.
Roman, thanks for cluing us in on the rest of the story behind his 9 interceptions last season. Right?
Let me tell you, the touchdown, I got the block on that one, so at least I looked out.
There you go.
All right, the Best in the Biz segment, Rod Woodson's choices for the safety position.